Ready? Hi, everybody. Welcome to Small Town Big Gays. We are the gays who are too big for how small of a town this is. I'm Chance.
I'm Travis.
We're alone today.
We are.
3 weeks of guests.
And then it's just us.
What's going on? What's happening? What's the haps? What's the 411? What's the hot goss?
Gearing up for Pride. That is what I am in the moment right now, which you are too.
Same.
Yeah. So that's what I thought we would talk about, what Pride is to us.
Yeah.
And our experiences at Pride and planning events and attending events and all of that lovely stuff. So what is Pride to you?
What is Pride? Pride is a celebration. I actually have very strong feelings of Pride. I'm very passionate about celebrating it and the importance of Pride. And I think that, there's a small contingent of young gays, #young gays, TM, that are in that boat of why do we need gay pride? And I think a lot of them have shut up over the past 2 years because we've kind of, especially assuming that they're, LGBT and not LGB without the T, that bullshit. I think they're coming to realize maybe why it is important that we continue to celebrate Pride and celebrate the things that the people who came before us have worked so hard to get us at that are now, under attack. Yeah, and I think it's especially important because, even if you aren't a trans person or a non-binary person and your rights aren't being threatened, they're not trying to take away gay marriage yet, so why do you care, Chance? It's because what do you think comes after they try to eradicate the trans people? They're going for the lowest hanging fruit, the newest, quote-unquote newest trans people have always been here, but they're going for the people who have just gotten recognition and, more mainstream recognition in the last maybe 10 years, and they're trying to pick them off before they start coming for the rest of us. So Pride's important. Go to your local Pride events. What are your feelings on Pride?
I hate it.
Because it's a lot of work?
No, I just hate it because I think that it's just queer people trying to shove their ideals down my throat.
True.
Wish they'd shove other things down my throat, not their ideals. No, I guess when I first came out, it wasn't something I really cared about. Just specifically in our community here, it wasn't a big deal. We had a Pride celebration, but I'm not even kidding when I say it was maybe 30 people would show up. Maybe that was a good Pride year. And it was in the back corner of some random park in town where no one could see us. And there really wasn't much to let you know that it was Pride, to be honest. It just probably looked like a really fucked up family reunion. Which, really is Pride in a nutshell, isn't it?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, so I got pretty passionate about it and joined the board to try and make some changes. And there was a couple other people that were really helpful too in trying to make some changes. But at that point, it was a really difficult time in our community of older queer people who I think still just sat in their comfort with it. We weren't going to ruffle any feathers. It was easy. It's just the way we did it, and lived a little bit maybe in their fear of being too exposed because, rightfully so, when they were growing up and dealing with this, they were attacked just in the street, whether it be verbally or physically. So I understood that fear. And then there was just a lot of pockets of how do I say this? Different sects of people that hung out. It was the drag queens and then the older gays and then, the trans people. And there wasn't a lot of communal ties between us here in this community specifically. So yeah, it was just a really different experience. So got involved. There was a couple of us younger people who were really passionate about we need to be out and about. And so we finally convinced them to do one part of a main park that was still really out of the way. But it was one of the better Prides of the year. There were some younger people that actually showed up and things like that. I have performed at a Pride to literally 30 people, and our changing room, it was Dominique and I were the only two, so that should really speak a lot there as well. We changed in an actual tent, a 2-person sleeping tent. I couldn't even stand up. Yep, it was a wild time, but here we are now. And we have 150 plus vendors. We're in the huge main park downtown where everyone can see us. And it's pretty incredible. We're 2 drag shows this year now. We're really just shoving that down
2 drag shows at Pride in the Park.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah. We're doing a spotlight feature show for younger entertainers and out-of-town guests at 11:30, and then we're doing our main stage show at 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's June 14th in Eau Claire if you would like to come by. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been really cool to watch just it evolve in Eau Claire. And I've done like the Minneapolis Pride before, which I didn't love. It was just a lot for me. I was overwhelmed. It also like rained that year, so it was muggy and gross and muddy. So maybe one year I'll give it another try again, but it's just really expensive too.
Is it?
Yeah. Everywhere is like a $30 cover charge just to walk in.
Yeah, the one time I did go to Pride in the big cities was, I've talked about it on the pod before, is when I went to Union Rooftop Brunch. We went to like their Pride in the Park, essentially, whatever the hell they call it. Then we went to brunch at Union Rooftop and made friends with one of the queens. And then we're going to go to Gay 90s, which is more like straight 90s now. Am I right, people? You get it, Minneapolis folks. Yeah, $30 cover charge. I ain't paying that shit.
Yeah.
I'll pay that at one bar, maybe.
I'm sorry, lost track of my thoughts. So why do you think Pride is important to have as queer people?
Like I said, just, we've always been under attack. And, since the late 60s, early 70s, when was Stonewall? 68, 69?
Oh, the exact year.
Yeah, I don't either. We should maybe know that.
Yeah.
But ever since like the gay liberation movement started, I mean, we were under attack before that. We clawed out our rights from, the establishment. And then we enjoyed this period of peace not peace, but, relative peace. Gay marriage got legalized. It became more accepted. More adults now, more than ever, identify as LGBTQ. And that's not because it's a trend or, whatever. It's not because it's trendy to be gay or queer or trans or bi or anything. It's because people actually feel more safe coming out and more accepted. So naturally, the percentage of the population has always been the same, but now more of them feel comfortable coming out, as evidenced by all the DL guys. I feel like DL has dwindled, not in small towns, still going strong. So yeah, Pride is all about making the DL guys feel like they don't have to be DL anymore.
Yeah. Part of me tries to understand when people are like, well, why isn't there straight Pride and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I try to like wrap my head around it, even though like I can't, because it's just so silly. But it's like, you've never had to deal with people like literally trying to erase who you are, and like, I think like as we are evolving as people in general, like we're becoming more understanding, like opening up the doors of like interracial marriage and dating is like, because that wasn't even that long ago that was frowned upon, like it's just so wild to me. People are always like, they're trying to erase white people. And it's like, I hope they do.
God, I wish they would. God. We are annoying.
Right? It's like, what are you worried about? Like, just shut up. It's so annoying.
We had one black president and they're trying to erase white people.
For real. It's so wild.
Jesus Christ.
It's so wild with the things that people believe in. Like, where I have straight pride. It's like, well, good. You should. And quite honestly, we do need you, because without you, we wouldn't have more of us. So, You know what? I love you for that, but that's really where my line draws and what I like about straight people. There's really nothing else endearing about them.
You've never, as a straight person, you've never had to worry about being attacked and not attacked like the kids online say all straight people are bad. I'm talking like physically attacked and beaten up and tied to a fence and murdered like Matthew Shepard was for being straight. You've never had to fucking deal with that.
Yeah.
So, straight pride. Fuck you.
I know. I went to a couple years ago when I did my road trip. We were in Wyoming and we went to Laramie, which is where Matthew Shepard was from. And even though I'm older, obviously older than you, Matthew Shepard still was kind of like I was pretty young when that happened. And so like it wasn't like a thing I remember, like about queer culture, but like we obviously all know the story and know it, but I don't know, just something being there really like sunk into me, like how crazy that is. And like, even though it like was a while ago, it really wasn't that long ago either, like it's so crazy that And shit like that is still happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's still prevalent. It's still happening.
I think we're in danger more now than ever of it happening more because like the people who perpetrated that are feeling emboldened by shit like Roe versus Wade being overturned, and then Clarence Thomas, or whatever the fuck his name is, I think that's the right one, mentioning specifically in his opinion that we should take a look at Obergefell, which is what legalized gay marriage in 2012 or whenever. People are feeling emboldened by that, and I'm honestly, I might edit this part out, but I'm really surprised that there hasn't been another pulse in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised. I'm glad, obviously, but I mean...
Yeah. What a wild, wild world we live in.
What a wild world.
Can I ask... I don't know how to word this. I was like, a controversial opinion. Take a shot. Thanks to Amber Hudson. I think what happens, and I shouldn't even just say this in queer lifestyle. I think in every subsect or culture or whatever, we find the worst of it, and that's what we focus on, and then lump everyone into being that type of a thing. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think of like, if you're thinking of like specifically white people, because I can talk on that because I am a white person, of like, you think of like the worst kind of white people are like the white trash, you know, like the white trash, quote unquote, who are just like living off welfare and government assistance and taking advantage of the system and having children with their brothers and sister, you know, like just those like stereotypes of things that like are some reality to some people's lives, but in the vast majority are like a
very small
pin in the spectrum. And so like I think that's what happens, especially with like marginalized groups of people, is they take a small sect of that, which is already a small sect, and even smaller sect, and then like really like witch hunt on that, you know, like saying like for queer people, I think right now the big thing is people are really focusing on like non-binary and trans people, and like especially saying like, well, they're all like wearing cat ears and have purple hair and headset people.
Yeah.
While there is a good majority of that does happen, it's not everyone. And like, why are we hyper focused on that? And like, should we kill those people?
Should we kill those people?
Yeah.
Should we kill the blue hairs with cat ears? No, we shouldn't kill them.
What's the solution?
We should ignore them, because it's so true that every marginalized community has that tiny little segment that is the quote unquote worst of them. And that group, you know, that very small subsect of this already marginalized community is often the loudest. On the internet specifically, I'll say, and the loudest and most radical to, you know, dumb extremes is how I'm going to word it. And yeah, I think mostly we should just ignore them,
kill them. You can edit that out, but
I'm not.
I think what I'm trying to say here and understand is like, it's just unfortunate that like certain people's behaviors get identified to a whole group of people. Like some examples that I can think of specifically just off the top of my head is like, I see this video and it's like, I don't know, from some event, but it's like I could be very wrong in this, but I would assume like a pup training video. And it's like, and by pup, I mean like a man like dressed up as a puppy, a leather pup. And his master, I don't know what they call him.
I think usually master, owner,
is like
handler,
getting him to like do a roll on the ground like a dog would.
Yeah.
And then like the audience claps for him when he does it. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's not for me. Is it hurting me? No. Is it hurting them?
Well,
maybe.
Consensually, probably.
But it's just like, in my opinion, I think it's weird. I don't get it. I get the idea of like master domination, whatever, that like role playing thing of it. I don't get the puppy thing. It's not my thing. Like many people don't get drag and why we do that too. I get it. It's fine. It's each person's thing. while I may not understand it and may not even like it, I still like think that there's space for people to do it because it's not hurting me. But I may watch the video and go, I get it. And it's like also like watching TikTok and you see like these trans people like Lily Tino or Blair White. I don't know if you know who either of them are. But Lily Tino is a trans person in San Francisco who does a lot of live interactions and got in a pretty big hot seat for talking about basically like bottom surgery, but like at Disney World, and like used cake pops as like a demonstration of, I believe, getting your balls removed. And people are like, there's children there and whatever. But I'm like, I'm sure there wasn't like kids sitting there. And she was like, yeah, I'm just going to lop the balls off, you know, like in front of them. Like, I'm sure. Yeah, it was at Disney. Is it appropriate? No. Is it weird? Yes. But they just like, Lily Tino does all these like really cringy things. And it's just like, those are the people that they hyper focus on. And then they think all trans people are like that. And it's just like, then it perpetuates the stereotypes and things like that. And it's like, do I like Lily Tino? Well, I don't really know them to personally say it, but like what I see from them online, I do not like.
I feel like there are a lot of people who do hyper focus on that kind of stuff. And then if they come into a situation where they meet a queer person or meet a trans person and they are able to actually have like dialogue and talk and hang out for a little while, then they come away realizing that trans people and gay people and queer people in general are just like us, or, you know, just like us, whatever. And I feel like it is difficult to get in that situation where they are, you know, amenable to just like learning who you are as a person. But I think it does happen. And, you know, you hear about these people from, well, no, actually, never mind. I'm going to take that back. Because now I'm thinking about like small town has, you know, the one gay couple or whatever. You hear about these sometimes. A small town has like one gay couple and they're accepted by their community, but their community is all like, you're the good ones. All of the rest of them are bad. So yeah, never mind. I'm going to take all that back.
Yeah, I guess like maybe the point I'm trying to get at is that like, when I think of like, I shouldn't say Republican, but more like MAGA supporters, in my head, a stereotype is I think that they're all bad people and really horrible, awful people, which they more than likely are. But there are probably some people who genuinely are good in there and just don't understand what they're doing and just don't understand the repercussions and have never had to think about that. So I guess like my big question is just like, how do we resolve all of this and how do we get past that? And how do we, I think maybe it's just as society, we've gotten too involved in other people's lives, and maybe social media is like a big part of it. I don't know. It's just such a weird thing because like, I don't know how there's ever going to be resolved to these issues unless people truly like just don't care what others are doing for the most part, you know? Is that making any sense? Because like, again, there's a lot of things that I don't like that people do. And I am a perfectionist, especially if there's someone I'm close to, I will tell them what I think they should do and be a little bossy bitch to them. Because that's just what I like to do. I like to be in control of anything because childhood trauma has taught me that
you need to be.
I need to be in control of everything because life can be chaotic around you. My little buzzers would be going off in my EDI, I can't remember what it was, therapy that you thought I made up where I get shocked.
Oh, the Scientology thing, yeah.
It's not Scientology, but yes. Yeah, I don't know. I just been thinking about that a lot as like we go into Pride, and like I think people would be lying if they didn't admit that like within their friend groups, we all kind of like talk shit about the crazy people, you know, like we all see them at Pride doing the wild shit, and you're just like, God, and like of course, like that's gonna be what WAU takes a picture of, is the lady with horns on and her pasties, you know, like because it's like it's so wild and extreme, you know.
Always is.
But like also like at the same breath, I don't even know, it's like good for that person for doing that. Like I guess, you know, pop off. I don't know.
Live your authentic life, and you know, if you are one of the quote unquote weird ones, like if it makes you happy, it's not harming anyone, you fucking do it. Just know that there's going to be people who are poking fun of you. Maybe if they're also part of the queer community, it's probably in good fun.
Yeah.
If it's outside of the queer community, they might want you dead. But that shouldn't stop you from living your life, because you know what? If we're talking about pride, and a big part of pride for me is, and I feel like I've said this before, in the face of violence, in the face of getting our rights taken away as queer people, like, we shouldn't cave and try to be normal. And we shouldn't accept the willing gracification, as I often call it, of the queer experience, where we're trying to be, you know, upright citizens, just like straight people, except we're not straight, and do all that. I think we need to, making space for queer people and making space for ourselves in this society involves like celebrating what queer culture is, celebrating that we are different than the nuclear family, that we don't have to conform to traditional gender roles or traditional family roles or any of that. We shouldn't just try to be like straight people and erase our culture just to be accepted. And that does mean facing violence, and that means overcoming the violence. I mean, did the people who rioted at Stonewall and the various other, like the one in the, I can't remember the name of it, but the pre-Stonewall gay riot in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, did they stop because the police were beating them with batons, and every march after that they were getting attacked by police and random people? No, they kept fighting, and they got us to where we are today. So that's what I always say is, you know, they didn't do all of that just for us to scamper back in the closet or to act like we aren't, to act like our inauthentic selves just for the benefit of straight people being comfortable. Period.
Period. You know, you shouldn't end a thought with a period because people think you're mean.
Yeah, you're speaking from personal trauma right now.
What do you think queer culture, queer life would be like if it was just accepted as normal? Do you think we would have the like subsects of things we do? Do you think we would still be like, would it still be exactly the way it is now, or would it be different because it would just be looked at as normal?
I think it would be different, because I think queer culture as it is today developed specifically from oppression.
Mm-hmm.
And I think honestly, queer culture would be boring because there wouldn't be queer culture. I think that's the thing with straight people. No offense, straight people, but there isn't a straight culture.
Uncultured swine.
Not uncultured swine, but there isn't really a straight culture in the sense that there is like a gay culture or a queer culture or like a black culture. I think like specifically American black people culture, and there isn't really culture for like straight people in general because they haven't faced that oppression and the homogenization of like European people throughout the centuries. But also it's not fair. There is like German culture and French culture. So I'm not going to say that. But straight people don't really have a culture because there isn't a straight culture. There is gay culture because we have faced oppression. We've developed our own, you know, our own way in life because of being oppressed and forming these communities in a way that I think created our culture, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a fucking sociologist. smalltownbiggays@gmail.com. Is sociology even the right profession that I'm referring to?
If you could erase one subsect of queer culture, what would it be?
Furries.
Okay.
No offense to our furry listeners. Just sometimes when I'm on Blue Sky, I have a random person that I follow and they post furry porn and it makes me mad.
Because it gets you horny?
No, I didn't sign up for that shit.
Okay.
But apparently I did because I follow him. I don't remember why I followed him. I might have unfollowed him at this point, but
yeah.
No, we love the furries. Again, it's one of those things where I don't kink shame.
I
only
just say
kink
it's not for
shame,
you.
but it's just not for me. Exactly.
Yeah.
No kink shaming. It's just not for me.
Would you ever wear the costume just for fun?
Oh yeah, for a bit, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Them fuckers are expensive too. I also have to credit those people. I have to credit furries for their dedication to their, it's not always a fetish though either, their dedication to that, genre, because that shit is expensive. And this is kind of a side note, but Tom and I were talking about this last night. We were watching Game Changer on Dropout TV. Great show. And anyway, we got into a conversation about how furry porn artists make a bunch of money, I guess. And I should get into that. How do I draw?
So do fat drag queens.
Fat drag queens make a lot of money? Because you're getting fetishized. TM.
Yeah.
I'm going to get into drawing furry art porn, though.
Okay. Are you good at drawing?
No.
That adds up, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll learn.
What are you good at?
Quickly. What am I good at? I'm good at photography.
If it's a good model.
Right.
Which is not me.
No. No,
actually, the ones this Saturday were pretty cute from
good.
prom.
I was pretty happy with those.
What are your favorite things that happen during Pride season? Like, what are some of your highlights? What do you look forward to? Why do you love it?
Specifically, our town Pride. I just like seeing a bunch of queer people out in public being themselves. And then I love our Pride drag show that we put on together because it is just fucking packed. And the past 3 years, we've lit off confetti cannons at the end of it, which is a pain in the ass for the bartenders.
Yeah.
But very fun for me. It fills me with joy just seeing so much queer joy.
Yeah.
That's what I like about Pride. Queer joy. I like seeing it. I like experiencing it. Everyone's horny. It's awesome.
Are they?
I don't know. Probably. I'm horny.
I never am.
I'm constantly. Thing I'm most excited about Pride this year, we're going to make out.
We are. Yeah, I feel like also our Pride here, specifically in the Chippewa Valley, is different. And I would be curious to get other people's opinions of like in smaller towns of what their Pride is like across the country. Because I never get to go to them because we do so much here that like I'm busy all Pride month just here in Eau Claire, which is awesome. And I love that. But like, I feel like a majority of our, like when you go to Minneapolis, I feel like it's probably like 80% queer to 20% straight. I feel like it's opposite here in Eau Claire. I feel like it's 80% straight allies, 20% queer people.
Yeah, probably. Which we are very lucky to live in a community where we have such strong support from the community in general. And I know that we come from a place of privilege, having so much stuff going on for Pride Month in our relatively small town. Eau Claire's not a small town. Fuck you. In our relatively small town, we have so much support and so much going on. And yeah, I would also be curious to hear what other people, like smaller towns across the country. So email us smalltownbiggays@gmail.com. If you're from a small town, tell us what your Pride is.
Yeah.
And if you don't have Pride, where do you go for your Pride stuff? Do you go to Pride stuff? What do you think about Pride? Email us. Here's what I want to talk about. The people online who say, we haven't gotten to the no can't get Pride discourse yet, but it's coming. God knows it's coming. Not the only thing coming.
No can't get Pride?
Yeah, the no can't get Pride argument.
I agree with that.
Why?
Why do you have to have it there?
Because it's part of the culture.
Why?
Because it is.
Trauma that hasn't been worked through.
Yeah, that's why we got to work through it.
While not acting a fool in public.
Are you actually a no can't get Pride person?
Yeah, I think it's weird.
Really?
Yeah, I think Pride should be like family friendly events.
Oh, see, that's where we differ. Okay, I wasn't sure if you were serious.
I just wanted to see what you would do.
I was going to start arguing.
I know. I was trying to get you riled up. It's not often I can get you riled up.
Didn't work.
So it did.
It's about to end the fucking podcast.
Okay, is that's all it's gonna take?
Yeah, all it's gonna take
okay,
is you saying no can't get
Pride or ever. No, I do think there is a time and a place, because I do believe that there are young queer people, not only like who identify as queer, but also queer ally children, which are very important as well, that want to come and experience that. And there should be things where children should be safe to not have to see and be exposed to that stuff. Now, I do understand that it's like, as a parent, you understand that these things could happen at these events. And if you choose to expose your child to that, that's on you. Yes. But we can just have events that are for that. And then if you don't want to do that, you don't go to it.
Well, that's why I like particularly how we run Pride in this town, is that you're very involved with the family friendly side, because there is Pride at the park in Eau Claire, and that is very family friendly. There's not gonna be fucking kink there. And that's the thing with most Pride celebrations, there is not a grand display of kink. You might see someone in a fucking puppy mask. You might see someone in a harness. You're not gonna go to Pride in Eau Claire, Wisconsin and see someone in a cock cage sucking a million dicks.
There should be, though.
There should be. That's what I'm saying.
Can we have a glory hole?
We could set one up.
We should have a glory hole.
We should have a glory hole.
Let's make that happen.
There's family friendly Pride events like Pride in the Park, or like even in Minneapolis, like, you know, the Pride is relative. Again, you're gonna see people in pretty tame fetish gear, but you're unlikely to see someone just walking down the street in a jockstrap. And if you are, who cares?
Right.
But you're not going to go to a family friendly Pride event like Pride in the Park in Eau Claire, Wisconsin and see someone, you know, a circle jerk. Most Prides, you are not going to see that. If you,
where would one go to see that, though? Just asking for our viewers who might be interested.
My house. You have to seek that specifically out. Like what these kids on the interwebs who are always arguing no kink at Pride see is they see Folsom Street in San Francisco, one of the largest Pride celebrations in one of the largest cities in the country with a deep, deep, deep history in queer culture.
Mental illness. Of course. They're one and the same. Yeah.
You're seeing shit from Folsom Street, which is the most extreme, and it is adults only. And it's not, don't go to that if you don't want to experience that.
I want to.
I do too. I would go to Folsom Street in a fucking heartbeat.
What would you do if we went together and you saw me blowing someone on the street?
I would not be surprised.
What if someone was blowing you and I watched? Would you feel weird?
No.
How would you feel if I was just sitting there
if you were like staring at me while I'm getting a blowjob? That would be weird. I would just try not to make eye contact with you.
I'll just be like,
if you don't make it weird, it wouldn't be weird.
Well, that's not an option, to be honest. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, don't go to fucking Folsom Street if you don't want to see kink at Pride. If you don't want to see kink at Pride, stick to the family friendly shit.
Yeah.
It is not every single goddamn Pride. You're only looking at the most extreme things, which are, again, specific, adult only things.
I do have to say, though, I think on the flip side too, where people get upset that there is no like kink at Pride events, I think it's also just annoying when people are like, it's all family friendly, and it's just like, no, it's not. There's definitely a good mix of both. Like, and if there's not, then quit bitching about it and make something, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just really passionate about it in our community. I enjoy children. I think they're great. I, have children in my life that I love, and I'm shockingly really good with children, but I don't let people know that, because then they try and force them on you. Like, yeah, you want to babysit me? No, I don't. Yeah. When I want to, I will, but you're not asking me, bitch. But I have a lot of people that come to my events with like queer children or like trans children or whatever, and they are like, well, what can we do with them? What's going on in the community? And thankfully, like, the community center here is going to have like some summer programming stuff this year and stuff. So there are things that are happening, but like, most of our drag shows happen in bars where they can't come, and we have a lot of young entertainers that want to do stuff. So I just know what it'd be like if I was that kid and like wishing I had some sort of platform, someone looking out for me. Like, what would my life be like if I had that when I was their age? So I think it's important to do that stuff.
I would agree.
As much as it's not like maybe my favorite thing in the world to do. Although I will say, like, when we do have family friendly drag shows, it can get boring, because it's just like, I like to be a fat slut, and that's just what I like to do. And obviously I'm not going to be like having my tits hang out and doing Kim Petras at a family friendly drag show.
Because you're a normal fucking person.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
debatable.
I mean, mentally ill, but
a functioning mentally ill person. But the energy that the kids, because they're just so excited to be there, and like to them, it's like just seeing like a pop star. You know, like we're wearing fun, flashy costumes, singing to their favorite song, dancing. You know, like they just love it, and so it's fun. Like the energy that they give is really fun. We just did a brunch show about a month ago, and it was all ages, and it was super fun. Like honestly, if the kids weren't there, it would have sucked because they were just like so excited because they don't get to come to a lot of these events because we don't unfortunately have a ton of them here. We're definitely working to make more things happen, but yeah, I think it's important for kids to do that, and then just also like to know and grow up that it's okay, it's normal, we're in your community, we're not, you know, all freaks. Some of us are, but not all.
Yeah.
Just like your straight friends, some of you are freaks and some of you aren't.
Most of them are freaks. Most of them are just ashamed, because I think queerness makes you less ashamed of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think Joey said it really great last week of when you like live your life with a big secret, then once you like are freed from that, the last thing you want to do is like live with more secrets. Yeah. So I think we're just open to being like, yeah, this is something that interests me. And I'll tell you, there's my camera. I will tell you what, ladies, your men are very kinky and they're into some weird shit. And if you have not checked your panties for stretches and stains, you should.
What was that fucking video you sent me? I'm sick of finding my husband's wigs.
Yeah, it's so real. It's wild. I'm not kidding.
It really is, because straight people aren't oppressed in the same way, but they are oppressed in the sense that they are told that sex is a shameful thing, and that's I think kind of where a lot of the no kink at pride discourse comes from. Is there is, since the 60s and the free love movement and then queer liberation, there has been a pushback of morals in both the straight and the gay communities, where, you know, sex is, people are trying to make sex shameful again, and I am completely anti that, because I'm obviously a very pro-sex person, but people complain about sex in movies, and like sex in movies has gone drastically down in American-made films, and it's just, why are we ashamed of this thing that everyone does, that everyone wants, that allowing...
Well, I don't want it.
Well, yeah, asexual. Allowing us to slide backwards in terms of like that acceptance is one of the steps in criminalizing queer people again, because then it becomes okay to make sex taboo and make queer sex taboo. So, and I think it's super important to have those family friendly events, like you were saying. I think that's great. And then I personally focus on adult pride because that's what I'm interested in. I think it's important to have both. I think it's important to have a pride at, you know, bars and stuff where you can get, not that, again, we're in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, so not that like our adult pride event that we're putting on is going to have a goddamn circle jerk.
It's going to have a glory hole this year.
It's going to have a glory hole,
find
apparently.
Somewhere to put that. I was watching TikTok, as one does when they can't sleep for various reasons, as I did last night. I got 1 hour of sleep last night, so I'm
goddamn
a zombie today.
You're surprisingly chipper.
And I came across this TikTok, and it was just like a video of like, because now you can put pictures and comments on TikTok, and it was like a video of like, where are my trans people at, you know, and it was just like a check-in thing. And so like they're like, now that we can comment pictures, like show me your picture, your best picture or whatever. And oh my god, these people are beautiful. And they're beautiful in what I would say is like conventionally attractive ways, you know, and like that's whether that's trans or not trans people, like there's conventional beauty, I think, in all things, and obviously it's subjective, so some people will whatever, but like I think that's why the world is so against trans people, because so many of them have just unlocked like conventional beauty and are just so stunning. Like both, oh my god, trans men are just so attractive, I can't even help myself, and then trans women too are just so fucking beautiful. It's just like, I get it, I get why they don't want them here, because they're unstoppable.
They're stealing all the glory.
Yeah, they are just Wow. And like usually a lot of times too, they can be beautiful in pre-transition and after transition too. Like they're just beautiful
That's
people.
when it's unfair. That's where I become anti-trans. How come you get to be both? How come you get to be pretty as both?
As someone who's ugly, I hate trans attractive people. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. It really made me think that. It's just like, I think it's because I think some people are so threatened by trans people because they've just unlocked so many things that like people I think are afraid of within themselves and whatever, of just like, they just know who the hell they are. They go for it. And even the people who, which is a very, very, very small part of it, like detransition, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Like they still like experience life of like, they went for something and like went for it and gave it their all and did it. And that's also admirable, you know, like, and okay, if it's not for them, like I get how that can be a rhetoric that can really be harmful to the trans community. So I don't want to erase that, but
like take the small number of trans people, because it is a small number of the population, and then make that number even smaller. Yeah. And that's the amount of people who detransition. Yeah. Like,
but like how brave of them to be able to do it and like know what they want. Like,
yeah,
again, I guess I'm not a doctor and I don't know the actual like whatever, but I don't think it's caused much harm other than maybe some mental stuff. But shit, what doesn't cause mental harm nowadays? I wake up mentally harmed.
It's the microplastics in your blood.
Yeah, probably. But anyways, trans people are great. They're beautiful, and the world is threatened by them because they know who they are, and they're really
not afraid to go for it.
And they're just, I love it.
Trans people are great.
Yeah.
Gay people are great. Bi people are great.
Well, I think trans people are like the superior, though.
Oh,
they're the supremes.
You're,
of the gay culture.
What is the word I'm looking for? Trans. I can't.
Idolizer.
No, there's some like term that I should be able to think of, but I can't. So let's move on.
Okay, but they're the supremes of the queer community. I'm just going to say it.
All right.
Yep. They are. Okay, so we need to just wrap this up quick here, but I want to know your favorite Pride memory, like a favorite memory you have from any Pride, whether it be local or extended. And then I would like to know what you are looking forward to most about Pride this year.
I think my favorite Pride memory would be the first year we did a Pride drag show at the bar that I've been working at for the past years. And seeing all the people there and celebrating. And honestly, it was during the Blow Circuit remix by Kesha. And when we shot off the confetti cannons, we did we had like fucking 8 of them.
Yeah.
And seeing that confetti rain down and everyone cheering and all the queens and all the queer people and all the allies, and that was my favorite Pride memory. That made me cry in the moment, and kind of makes me tear up when I think about it, because it was just nice to experience that. And then thing I'm most looking forward to this year would be probably the Turnabout show. I don't know, it's fun to see. I participated last year. I'll be there in drag this year, but not, performing. It's just super fun to see people who are part of the community or allies to it, get their turn in the spotlight. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most. What about you? Same question.
Okay, my favorite memories of Pride, I have to pick 2, because I feel like there's before the new Pride and the old Pride. So my favorite memory from old Pride is Gemini went to a Pride, and I mean there was probably like 40 to 50 people there. It wasn't that big, but we were in drag and they had us work a dunk tank. And so we were just getting dunked in a tank all day, which was fun, and I'm thinking we're going to bring that back next year.
I could probably get a dunk tank for our Pride
that'd be
drag
fun.
show.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Good way to raise some money. Drag queens and dunk tanks. So that was that. And then I would say same with the memory of that. My thing is that for some reason, and I don't know why, Scooters always did their Pride in August because it was like a separate entity thing. I'm not really sure how that happened or why it was. So we never really had like an actual like Pride at Scooters like thing. So it's been really fun to come in with the Firehouse and have like actual like Pride weekend and weekend of events. So yeah, like doing the blow number with the cannons, and then the turnabout show last year was really fun. Like it's a really fun month, and Firehouse has really like, and I shouldn't say Firehouse. It's not the Firehouse building. It is the staff that works at the Firehouse that has done so much to make our community feel welcome there, and has, and that well, whatever, I'm just going to self-pat myself on the back a little bit. The hard work that I've put in with you guys to make those things that I've wanted to happen for years finally be able to happen has been really awesome to watch that all come to fruition because of the hard work that we do. So I love it, and I'm really looking forward to the Turnabout show as well this year. Looking forward to Pride weekend with all the different venues, and yeah, just seeing all the people around and making some good money too.
Making some money.
Yeah.
Making money, making moves.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good point to end this episode on.
I think it is too. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Fats.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Small Town Big Gays is hosted by Travis Gorell and me, Chance Smith. Our music is 1am by TYB. You can check out his music, links are in the episode description. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at STBG Pod. Find us on Facebook if you're a Facebook person. Email us at smalltownbiggays@gmail.com. And for more shit from me, Chance, go to strangehavens.com.
It's been nice to fall asleep.